Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
Welcome back to the show. Finally, we have our friend here, Karrin Mayfield Felton, joining us. Excited to have her to talk more about, Feet Planted LLC. That's the name of the company. And we're excited to have her here joining us live today on the show, Zoomcast and podcast. How are you?
I am doing wonderful, and happy Friday to you, Joe.
Yay, thank you. Same to you. Pleasure to have you here. And you're from the Virginia area, correct?
I am. I'm based in Stafford, Virginia right now on a beautiful, beautiful day.
Beautiful. We're excited to talk to you today about all the services you offer. And I know Feet Planted equips science, technology, engineering, mathematics for STEM students, early career professionals, and gaining some foundational tools that can really help them innovate, excel, and become, they can become real leaders from this. So let me ask you a little bit about Feet Planted. Tell us what it is exactly before we get started.
Okay. Feet Planted LLC is the name of my company that I started on National STEM Day, November 8th, 2021. So innovate on purpose. Got to keep with my STEM base. It was developed over a period of time. I tell people all the time, when did you think of Feet Planted? There has not been a time where I've not mentored, where I've not been interested in pushing and moving the needle, not only in technology, but also in my career, and being concerned about my colleagues and those coming up behind me. And so Feet Planted started because I wanted to get real specific. I wanted to actually talk about skills assessments with students and early career professionals. I wanted them to not start and completely be at ground zero, but to have some footprint, to have some model to follow as they navigate, as they learn, and as they get to understand what it is that they bring to the table. So my company helps them do that real time, and it also helps other communities and organizations to include schools, help their professionals, their employees take it a step further, kick it up a notch so that they're able to contribute authentically and fully in the spaces that they're in. That's what Feet Planted LLC is about.
And that's the website, feetplantedllc.com. They're also all over social media. And I know we want to focus on making connections with young professionals and for young STEM learners. But before we do that, I'd like to get to know you, if you don't mind sharing a little bit about where you grew up and how you ended up in this career, helping others.
I would love to tell you. It's a story that is near and dear to my heart because it started at home. It didn't start necessarily in a classroom. It started with my parents, who are educators, and I saw them be community leaders, be civic leaders. I saw them go to people's homes and do workshops in their sororities, fraternities, and in their jobs. My father was, he's deceased now, but he was an amazing basketball coach, an athlete. And so I saw him mentor and direct students in the classroom, as well as my mom, who was an English professor, went on to be a dean. And that is where I learned how to engage. And so when you add a curiosity for science, which did start in my chemistry class with my teacher, it just, the aperture just opened. I wanted to know more. I like taking things apart. I definitely like blowing things up. I want to know how stuff works. We call it being curious. I call it just nosy. I want to know why it smokes. I want to know why at that temperature does it freeze, and then when I put my arms around it, the temperature drops, or what happens when I put a penny inside a cup of soda and I see bubbles, and then the next thing I know, the penny is now shining. What's going on, right?
I have a 6 and 8-year-old, and we buy some of those Discovery STEM things. And now I never heard of the penny one, and now I'm going to look at this one myself. Thank you. It's fascinating
absolutely.
science.
You don't even need a kit. You just need a dirty penny and a cup of soda.
I got it. How long does it take to get shiny?
It takes a little while. It does take a little while, depending on the beverage. I won't give all of it away.
All right.
Some of it is discovery. So if you use different brands, you will find one that does it faster than the other.
All right.
Just a little insider. So that is about me, a little bit of my home life. I did not grow up as an only child. I am sandwiched in the middle of two other females, my older and younger sister. We're all in the STEM space, biology majors. I'm sandwiched by biology, which was not my favorite subject, by the way. But
Wow.
we were curious and just really wanting to know how things worked. And more importantly, as we are getting older and maturing, we want to know how the things that work impact your community. How do they impact the work that you do? So we're broadening and making those connections between the advancement of STEM and actually what that means to the human condition. And so when you marry those two things together, you get me.
Beautiful. And let's be honest, it wasn't easy, right? You've had some obstacles
Oh,
along the way. And I want
absolutely.
everyone to realize that and understand you're not alone in that department. Did you want to share any of the hurdles that you had to go through, especially as a female, an African American female in this space? I
Oh
commend you.
yeah, there were some challenges. So I'll start off by saying that I obtained my bachelor's degree in chemistry and my master's degree in chemical engineering. So graduate school was hard, and it was challenging because there was a lot of pressure that I put on me. I was told by so many people, "You would be the first to get a master's degree, the first African American female." Don't mind telling the year, 98, to receive a master's degree from Clarkson University. And that was the weight of that,
A lot on
surprising. A
yeah.
lot of my shoulders. And so
Uh-huh.
the places that I've been, the places where I've been to work, I have an example of showing up to one of my employers at a manufacturing facility, and the person that greets you in the front, basically started handing me dustpans and trash cans and saying, "Hey, everything is over there." Now, mind you, all I said was hello. All I did was stand there. And even though janitorial service is an honorable field, she assumed that that was what I was there for without getting to know me, without talking to me, without asking me
Wow.
any questions. And so, as an African American woman, we are often in a position to prove. We can't just show up in a room and in an office. I've been in meetings, so that happened early in my career. Fast forward even 6, 7 years ago, I go to a meeting and there's a placard there, and then I sit down, and then nobody's like, "Oh, are you supposed to be here?" Yep, I just sat by my name. So people, when they look at me, do not presume that I am the leader. Do not presume that I am the person running the meeting. Don't presume that I'm the engineer in the room, that I am the technical warrant holder for the discussion that we're having. And so, what that has done is that it's actually taught me a little bit of grace, but those are some of the challenges and obstacles at the time that have happened to me. And what I've done is that I have turned that around to really be curious and to want to know who's in the room, to understand
Beautiful.
when I come in the room that I come with authority, not because I'm the smartest person in the room, but because I come with my gifting and I come with my strengths. And so those are just some of the things that I have learned. Notice I said as I matured, I wasn't always able to understand it with that clarity, but
Of course.
that's the benefit of time and
Yep.
mentorship.
Beautiful. Well, thank you for being here. And I know today you
Yeah.
want to kind of focus on making connections with professionals and young STEM learners. So where do we begin?
Making that connection, if you're asking the general person, where do you begin making that connection? It is a known fact that most students who may have an interest, you'll see it early. You'll see it in how a child plays, those blocks, those Legos, those things that we have that we sometimes put in front of our children to keep them busy. But if you observe, you will understand easily and quickly kind of what resonates with them and what they're interested in. And so I liken that to making the connection to students and making that connection to professionals, because there is a thread of the smallest common denominator between what you're interested in and what you could do with that interest to advance STEM. It's a very, very, very fine line. And understanding what connects us. So I may be interested, I'm a chemistry major, but I also love music, and I also love problem solving. And so understanding that skill and that interest will lead you to maybe be more curious and ask me questions about, well, I've got this problem. and maybe you can help me. So now you're inviting me in. You're inviting me to participate in something bigger than me, and that can happen as easy as that at any level of education.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. Wow. And by the way, I know While Feet Planted LLC is not a faith-based company. Just want to mention that it's founded on Christian principles, correct? Do you want to
It
share just a
absolutely
drop
is.
about that? I read that in your additional notes. I want to make sure we're getting everything in.
Oh, no, I appreciate that. So I grew up in a faith-based home. I am a Christian. I'm not ashamed of that. And so my company is based off of the book of Psalm, chapter 1, verses 1 through 3. And I'm going to have you look it up for those of you who are listening later. It's worth
Hmm.
a read. There is a portion of that that says, "Blessed are those who plant their feet by the rivers of waters, and they're planted where they can prosper in their life if they do certain things, if they follow after the Lord, and if they surround themselves with people who have good intentions and people who are not scornful, who are not blocking your path." And so when I read that, I said, wow, there's so many things, even though it's spiritual, that I can extract and apply to the natural world. And so feet planted means that I am steady. I am immovable. My feet are planted. And so I am there to get dirty. I'm there to roll my sleeves up. I am there to be able to solve problems and to make sure that those that come by me are able to succeed, and that I'm doing that with the right people. I'm doing it at the right time. And I'm also doing it with the gifting that I have.
Beautiful. Well, what else did you want to share? I'm urging everyone to please go to the website. It's feetplantedllc.com. And of course, we're here talking to our experts. I know you have some classes coming up, right? You have
I
speaking
do.
engagements.
I do.
Where did else did you want to talk about and go today?
Well, I really want to let people know that we as Feet Planted LLC are continually striving to be in person. I know that this is virtual and it is great, but I believe that if we're going to, sometimes we just have to get together and we just have to get in a room and we have to figure it out. We have to talk to one another. And so I offer workshops. I offer workshops that allow us to tap into our skills and strengths. Not just the ones that get you the job, but the ones that are really personal and innate to you. Because I believe that when we walk and operate in our strengths and the things that really bother us, someone said that thing that burns you up, that irritates you, that's probably what you're supposed to be doing. And so I help people get closer to that. So I offer workshops on that. I also have a master class that I offered in 2023 called Show Up. We're going to run that back in 2024. So this is a workshop that helps professionals show up in their workplace and be their authentic selves, but there's a process. It includes understanding not just who you are, but how you add value, understanding your culture, understanding the environment of where you work so that you are prepared and that you're able to be present and contribute 100% without sacrificing who you are to do it. And I am also going to be speaking in March. I just had that conversation a little while ago. I'm going to be kicking off Women's History Month at Germanna Community College. And so just stay tuned. There's a lot of great things coming up for Feet Planted LLC. But more importantly, if you are interested in partnering with me, www.feetplantedllc.com. My email address and contact information are on my website. I would love to sit down, have a conversation on how we can move the needle forward, help students and early career professionals thrive so that they can make a difference and just help us discover so much more and do things for our community and do it together.
Beautifully said. Thank you so much. Tell me a little bit more about what's up and coming, please. Could you share some details? And is there still openings for people?
There are still openings for people in terms of the master class. I'm actually going to
Yeah.
try to do that in the fall of this year. So probably as we get to August, as some of you are in the working world, you have your mid-year and you have your end-of-year assessment. And so I think I'm going to run that around that time frame because it's going to allow you to take the feedback that you're getting from your job and be able to process it and then use that to propel yourselves forward. I do run a resume review workshop. I'm probably going to run that back this year. I don't know the
Very
time
cool.
frame. I have colleagues and a very vast network of folks who rise to the occasion when I need them, and they have helped review resumes live and then give you the feedback live. So we're definitely going to offer that again. But go to my events page on my website. These events that I talked about, I did in 2023, and I'm going to do them again in advanced capacity, hopefully live, most of them, so that we can meet in person, and some of them will be virtual.
Beautiful.
So
Like
I can
today,
hit
I was going to say a lot of
everywhere
them,
you
I'm
are.
assuming a lot of our work today is all through the computer, right?
Yep, here we are.
Oh my gosh. And what message did you want to kind of leave for your listeners and those interested in the sciences and in STEM, of course, and and the future possibilities?
Well, one of the quotes that I used in the material for my Show Up course, it really, really struck a chord with me. And it is from the Nobel Peace Laureate Lema Gwawi, 2011. I'm pausing because I'm really trying hard not to butcher her name. She's a Liberian peace activist and social worker, but she also does a lot of work for women's rights and advocates. And this is her quote: "You can never leave footprints that last if you are always walking on tiptoe." And when I read that, I got a chill just like I did just now. So that's what I leave with you. Let's stop walking on tiptoe. Let's stop
Perfect.
walking on eggshells. Let's plant our feet firm, be sure-footed, and walk with confidence, knowing that you can accomplish great things. And even if you fail, pick yourself back up and continue to move forward.
Beautiful. And remind us again how we can contact you. Would you mind sharing all the ways?
I would love to. I am on social media, definitely LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, the new Twitter. I am also available and accessible via email at Karrin.
Beautiful.
My name is spelled Karrin .Felton, Felton, at feetplantedllc.com. And all of that information is on my website at www.feetplantedllc.com.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. Pleasure having you here and looking forward to the next time we get to connect. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Jill. It's been a pleasure talking with you.
Thank you. You too. And to all of our listeners, please stay tuned. More of the show's coming right up after the break. Thank you again for the inspiration. And are we back next week or?
We are back next week.
Perfect. All right. We'll continue the discussion then. Looking forward to it. Thank you.
Are you looking for even more of the podcasts and hosts that you love? The Podcast Business News Network is proud to announce that you now have even more ways to listen live. Check out the MyTuner Radio, online radio box, and Simple Radio apps on iOS and Android, or find us online. Search for Business News Network on mytuner-radio.com, or search Podcast Business News Network on streama.com and onlineradiobox.com/US. Take your podcast on the go and don't miss a minute of the action.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house.
And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned. This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.